What's going on? You're listening to WSOU. I am Nick here with my special guest, Tyler from Gideon. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Not much. Just hanging out, working on some stuff for our upcoming shows.
You definitely are going to be having a very, very busy month. You guys just hopped off the road. Well, actually, are you guys the Chelsea Grin tour over, or is it wrapping up?
It's over now, yeah.
It's over
as of a few days ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
so we're spread out, kind of like preparing for these upcoming things we have coming.
Right. You got the album comes out on the 12th. You've got the upcoming headliner. So you guys are definitely going to be very, very busy. You ready to take it all on?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We had a huge break beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And first tour back was the Chelsea Grin tour, 6 weeks long. Just really just kind of jumped right back into the deep end of being busy.
Right.
So yeah, it's been cool and refreshing since we were bored for a little while. So
and
we're excited
for sure. And I'm very stoked that the new album Cold is finally going to be coming out. Been waiting a while for this, and I wanted to kind of get some background because it's been a while. Like you guys dropped Pulling Teeth. At this point, it seems like almost a year ago when you announced that you were going to be putting the new album out on Equal Vision. So what kind of took so long for the album to finally see the light of day?
Well, we recorded the album. Excuse me. We recorded the album before Warped Tour, and there were some loose ends that we wanted to tie up in the studio.
Okay.
And because of scheduling things, we ended up having to keep pushing back when we could go back. And we were planning on, like, the album is 11 tracks, but we were planning on throwing a couple more songs on the album, just because we had some more material and, like, the timing. We were like, let's put some more time into it and make sure it's right. So we were going to record more songs, and we had postponed the release for a little bit, and had some family issues with a guy in the band that kind of came up right as we were going to go back into the studio. So then it was like, okay, well, let's roll with what we got. We're confident with what we have, and we were happy with how it was already, but we were hoping, to have some extra goodies on there. So, that being said, it took us a little while to wrap up the songs because we were just trying to make it as good as possible and make sure that we could shoot videos, rolling out with new songs, and just kind of trying to do it right. And Equal Vision has been very accommodating and very just like, yeah, we want to do it the way you guys want to do it. We want to do it right. So
for sure. And now
it's kind of the hold up.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to get a little bit of insight too, because obviously this is your first release on Equal Vision, but you guys were on Facedown for a very long time, and I know Facedown has a good connection with their band. So I wanted to know if there was any specific reason why you guys decided to branch out with this this release.
Yeah, well, Facedown Records was amazing to us. Jason and Virginia and Dave and Shannon, they're like family to us still. We had 3 albums. We had a 3-album deal with Facedown Records. So when it came down to the 4th album, we were trying to figure out, how can we're so grateful to have such a good base in our first 3 albums being on such a great label, but we were trying to see if we could take it to the next level with a bigger reach and, label-wise and distribution-wise. And, it was kind of a tough decision because we met with a couple different labels, and, nothing feels as nice as Jason from Facedown Records. That guy is notoriously one of the best humans on the earth. He's a great guy to work with.
For sure.
So we're going into, trying to figure out what label we wanted to sign to. We're picky people, and we were kind of spoiled with a great team in the first place. So we met with a couple different ones and didn't know what was going to happen, and then we met with Equal Vision and just clicked right away. You know, we went out to dinner, not anything crazy, and you know, it just clicked vision wise, and it was probably the closest thing that we'll ever get, you know, as a label to being as great as Jason. So it's been really cool so far, and Equal Vision is an iconic thing in our eyes. You know, all my favorite records from 10 years ago came out on, you know, that shaped my musical taste, came out on Equal Vision. So I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I know you guys are actually going to be a part of Facedown Fest 2 this year, which I wish I could go out to Cali because it's ridiculous with the reunions, and I know you know, you guys, it's basically kind of like an album release show for you. And, you know, I know those
it really worked out.
Yeah, those Who Fears playing their last show, so it's going to be a crazy 3 days.
Definitely, and we're staying for all 3 days because, I mean, we've been on the label for a long time, and aside from a couple of the newer bands, everyone that's playing for the most part will be friends of ours or people that we've toured with before. And you know, the Facedown family, like, motto, you know, just calling the Facedown bands like Facedown family, that's real.
Yeah,
you know, as far as our experience goes, you know.
For sure.
So we're definitely, you know, it's a hard place to be in, to try to, like, do what you feel like is best for your band, but, like, you know, we really love them, so we want to be able to do what we can to still be, you know, have our, you know, try to give back if we end up being in a position where we can, and all of that, you know. Definitely.
And how does it feel? You know, it's looking back, especially being a part of Facedown Fest this year. You know, you guys have been around. This is technically this is your 10th year. You started out in 2008. So how does it feel? You know, you guys have been, you know, going strong. You've overcome a lot of different obstacles, and you know, things are still moving up and up from here. I mean, that must be an incredible feeling to be able to be doing this for the amount of time that you have.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like you said, it's been about 10 years of playing this music, and when we started, we couldn't have thought of a bigger dream than to be on Facedown Records, you know, and being a part of that for as long as we have, and now I believe, like, our record is like one of the top selling in the Facedown history, and that's just, you know, that's a crazy thing, and we're just grateful to have been a part of that legacy, because, I mean, I fully understand that it is a legacy, you know. To me, it is still.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And now
we're very grateful for all of that, for all the time we've been playing.
Yeah. And now, would you say that this album is kind of like that next step? Like, it kind of takes everything that you guys have done and kind of elevates it, and it's like, this is like our statement kind of moving forward. It's like, we've been around for this long, because I know, especially with this album, you know, not necessarily why it took so long to get out, but I know there was a lot that went into this album negatively that had an effect on the music that is coming out on this album. So would you say that this album is kind of like a statement where it's like, you know, we overcame a lot, nothing's going to stop us, and we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing for, you know, this long time?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. It's between the third and the fourth record, it feels like so much has changed in the band, and like with us personally, and it went from still feeling like the new band to starting to feel like not the new band, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, what goes along with that is there's a lot of, you know, great experiences, and, you know, things that we've realized about ourselves, and things we've realized about just humans in general, or, you know, about our societies, or, you know, like, we've learned a lot from doing this. So yeah, this new record is more like a look back and being like, well, we're just gonna like push through this and make the sickest thing that we can make, you know. And lyrically is a lot more like personal. Like the first couple of albums, Milestone and Cost, were a lot more like story based and, you know, personal bad experiences and things that are hard, you know. And we definitely talked a lot more about that kind of stuff on this one than we did on the last one, which, you know, our last album is very, you know, we were trying to be as inspiring as possible, and you know, there's still that kind of stuff, just like pump up songs that are gonna pump you up and get you through what you gotta accomplish, you know. But there's a lot more of the deep introspective kind of thing going on in this album, which I feel like people can connect to a lot more. And then, I mean, that's just like lyrically, but like, you know, stylistically, it was just, we wanted to write the sickest, you know, spend more time on riffs and spend more time on patterns and vocal stuff. And, you know, it's just a product of actually trying to plan things out a lot more than usual, you know?
Yeah. And I know, like you mentioned, there was a lot of negative connotations that kind of went into the writing. I know, you know, with, you guys had a lot of issues with, you know, van troubles, whether it was accidents or break-ins. And
yeah,
what kind of, you know, and it seems like over the past few years that's been happening to a lot of bands in the scene. Now, what kind of gave you that motivation to kind of not give up? Because there are so many points where you guys come in like, all right, you know what, we hit this point where we can't really come back for this, and is this something we want to continue to go on? And you guys have overcame that. You know, you're going to be putting this album out. What kind of puts you over the top to keep moving forward? And also, what do you think, is there anything that can be done to kind of curtail these occurrences? Because it seems like every other week you see, oh, this guy's van got broken into, these guys are having van troubles. Is there anything that could happen? Because it seems like we're at a point where there needs to be some sort of adjustment to help out the, you know, the hardcore metal scene with touring.
Yeah. You know, I'd say on that topic, you know, it's just people are a lot more aware of our subculture than they were, you know, even 5 years ago. But you know, especially like 10 years ago. And I think that kind of plays into it. Now people know if you see a van and you see a trailer, there's probably a lot of money in there, you know?
Yeah.
And if it's outside a venue where a bunch of rocker kids are walking around, it's like, yeah, they've definitely got guitars, you know?
Yeah.
So, and backpacks with computers in it, you know, that seems to be like the most common target.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is like we like to keep somebody in the van if we're in an area that's not, you know, it's not a great area, and we're worried about, I mean, because we've been robbed a couple times in our, you know, since we started.
Yeah.
And, you know, the last one being like the worst one. And, you know, you just have to be kind of diligent about taking your important things inside. And I think that it would be great if there was, a more affordable way for, you know, some sort of insurance or theft, you know.
Yeah.
Or way, you know, that would help a lot. But, you know, it's just kind of where we are right now. We just try to be more careful.
Yeah, definitely.
As much as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as the all of that stuff, like what motivated us to keep going, it's like we put out, like I was saying a minute ago, we put out an album about pushing through your problems and trying to be strong and you know, keeping your head up, and then we go through the worst, you know, 3 weeks of our lives probably as far as like stress goes, and when we wrecked our van last year, you know, we got robbed in Oakland, California, and then a week later totaled our van. That's what you were talking about, and we just saw people found out about it and are just commenting our lyrics to us and tweeting our lyrics, you know,
Yeah.
just like, you won't see the sun till you walk through the rain, and all of this stuff. And you know, it's disheartening at the, you know, at the moment, not their comments, but
right.
the wreck and the theft were very disheartening. You know, you're just like, why is this happening? We're getting kicked while we're down, you know? And we felt like we didn't really have any choice but to put our money where our mouth was as far as pushing through. And, you know, it was for us and for everybody else, you know, just to see, like, you know, it just felt like we had to do it. And it made us feel a lot better. You know, personally, it brought us a lot closer, you know, within the band. And, you know, I wouldn't change anything. Even, you know, we're still, in a way, we're still recovering from that. You know, it's been over a year, but it takes a hit. That kind of stuff takes a hit on you, but we're still happy that we did what we did, and we are glad that we were able to make it work and really, like I said, try to put our money where our mouth was with that one.
Definitely. And I've only gotten to hear the singles so far. I'm really digging it. You guys did this album with Will Putney, and I've just spoke with him not too long ago about his band's new album, Fit for an Autopsy's new album. And he's just a savage when it comes to recording. It seems like everybody that is in the scene right now, their album was somewhat touched by his hands. So what, how was it kind of working with him? And I know you guys had a lot. He was also working with Knocked Loose, hence why you guys were able to get Brian on a track as well, which is sick. But kind of tell me a little bit about that experience with working with him.
Yeah, well, we did our first album with him. Callous was the first album that we did with him, and we learned a lot through that process about each other and about, you know, how to work with each other, like Will and us. And you know, going into the second one, we had a game plan. Like, you know, we knew what we had to do and what we wanted to improve and what we needed to come to the studio with. And so this time around, we go, you know, just everything was smooth as far as the writing. He does a lot of he helps you with your songs a lot, you know, helps you pick them apart and rearrange, and, you know, he's got a great ear for that, and he pretty much he's got it down, you know. That's why everyone goes to him, because he has good ideas and he doesn't give up on parts. He's if you mesh with him well, like, he's great to work with. So yeah, he's produced so many records that have been, you know, sick in the last couple of years, last few years, and we had to try it out. I'm glad it worked out. This time we got to do guitars, like, super detailed, you know, like we got to do a lot of stuff. I don't want to go into the specifics of it, because I can talk about it all day, but yeah, it's great. Working with Will is incredible, and we like his mixes and his drums, and we vibe, so it's been cool. And glad that Knocked Loose got to do a record with them. They showed up in the last week or so. We were in the studio, and so we were really pumped, you know, hearing all their demos and hearing it come together. It's, you know, great band.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also, you got Brian on there, and then of course the big one is you guys have Jamie Josta on there, which is incredible. And I remember when he played you guys on his podcast a while ago, and I was like, wow, that's cool that he was digging you guys. So to see that he's on this is huge, just because obviously, you know, trying to get his fan base, if they're not aware of you, you know, that's kind of like that cosign. And I could see you guys doing like a tour together. You guys would fit well. So I'm sure having him on there, I'm sure having him on the record is you know, not a small note at all.
Yeah, we were very excited about that. We on Callous, we were trying to get Jamie on the record, and I can't remember, somebody somebody in our team, or maybe the owner of Facedown, or maybe Will, because Will knows Jamie also,
right?
And I think he even went on his podcast.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, so we tried to get him on Callous, and we had ideas of which parts we wanted him to do, and he agreed to do it. We sent him the part, and it's just so hard to, deadlines are crazy with records sometimes, and he wasn't able to get it done before our deadline. So when this one came around, we made sure that he had plenty of time to do it, and we had the song in mind that while we were writing it, and we're like, this is the one. We're gonna send this one to him when it's ready. I think we even sent him the pre-pro version to track to.
Okay.
Or something. And that's just an honor, I think, to be able to collaborate with him as a band, like being in the style that we are. We take a lot of influence from his band, and it was great. I'm glad that he agreed. I honestly can't even believe that he agreed to do it, but he's a cool guy.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to get a little bit of a backstory on the album cover, because it's very vague, and I'm trying to figure out the tie-ins and everything. It's, a boy with no shirt on. He's got a blindfold on. My favorite thing is I saw a comment on the Facebook. Someone was like, well, if he's cold, because the album's cold, well, if he's cold, why doesn't he put a shirt on? But so what's the significance of what that's supposed to represent?
Yeah, well, the song "Champions," it's going to be the first song on the record.
Okay.
It talks a little bit about being. It kind of sums up a lot of what the record's about, and it talks about just kind of blindly following certain norms and things like that without even questioning or thinking about it, and it's basically just saying how you can grow up your entire life believing whatever everyone around you told you at the time, and about anything really, and then grow up one day and be like, why did they tell me that? That's not even true, or that doesn't even make sense. So it's just kind of like a growing up kind of thing, and as far as the visual of that, Jake, our drummer, who writes all the lyrics, came up with the idea to have just an image that says, without saying cold on it, that it just says cold,
Yeah.
He looks like he's cold, and the blindfold and the hand over the heart is just kind of like his way of saying, like, it's just a visual for, like, pledging your devotion to things without being able to see the whole picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
I like that.
So and that kind of like played into like the whole album is every song has something to do with something that you realize is just kind of messed up and makes you feel a little cold toward the world, and it's just kind of hopefully people feel that and can relate, and that's part of the theme.
Yeah, all right, I like the tie-in. And I also wanted to touch on too, because I've seen you guys I think maybe 4 or 5 times, and the majority of those times have been you were out on tour supporting For Today, and For Today obviously called it quits at the end of the year last year, and you guys got to be a part of the first leg of that tour, and I got to catch you on that. And I just wanted to kind of get, your significance on For Today in helping you guys out, because obviously there were one of those bands that, they saw something in you, kept taking you out. It seemed, I talked to a couple bands that it seems, Fit for a King, Silent Planet, where it seems like every tour, at least one of you guys was out on the road with them. And I just thought it was cool that, they would help out, these, the bands that were coming up, and kind of get them in front of people, because that's how I got to get to know a couple of you guys, was through seeing you over and over on tours that they would be doing. So obviously they must have had a
Yeah.
big part in, you know, you guys really hitting the road hard.
Yeah, they definitely did. The first tour, you know, I think it probably just stems from, you know, they came from Facedown and did their thing, and they're, in a way, to us, you know, kind of like a good role model to see, you know, what you can do with your band and your career, you know. And I think we did a lot of festivals together, and that, you know, they knew, you know, we hadn't done any tours for like a while after we met them, you know.
Yeah.
But they finally sent us an offer to do what I think was one of their biggest tours they ever did. It was them with Memphis Mayfire supporting, and The Word Alive and Upon a Burning Body. And we got to open that tour, biggest tour we, aside from Warped Tour, I think even now it's close to the biggest tour that we've done ever, you know. So, you know, when they decided to call it quits, it was a no-brainer. I mean, they asked us if we wanted to do their final shows, and it was just like, well, of course, you guys have done so much for us. We'll do your final tours. We'd love to, you know.
Yeah.
So when it came around, it was very it's very surreal, because they paved the way in a lot of ways for bands on Facedown, and, you know, just bands in general. So yeah, it was cool, and I'm sad to see them go. But I've seen a couple of them since they broke up, and Ryan actually works with Will Putney, so
okay,
he's up there in the studio, most here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's definitely cool. Well, that's all I got for you. I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, and really excited to hear the rest of the album when it comes out.
No worries, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Anything you want to add?
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, anything you want to add wrapping up, or you got everything covered?
I mean, the album comes out on May 12th, and hopefully everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, of course.
We're pumped on it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much again. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem. It was nice talking to you.
Of course.